You see, and this is the big awakening happening. You see many people, scholars or other type of speakers that are bringing this forward, that what we are really experiencing is our interpretation of things, meaning ourselves. So when you bring yourself into that center state by suffering the opposites, not by staying away from one and hugging the comfort zone, but by systematically always venturing out of the comfort zone. If you're angry, venturing into softness. If you're too soft, stepping up to the plate.
It's very dangerous because you might end up having to redefine every concept that you have in your life.
And this is why the dreams represented as a rebirth of a whole new being. And that's the pieces, the two fishes that become one, and then you get this water bearer that is born, which is like this human angel, the butterfly. Yes, it's a rebirth. It's a profound process of deprogramming and not reprogramming, because what we do is we contain that center, and yes, at a certain point you stop thinking as such, and the whole process is based on containing centeredness, because that is going to connect you to the self. And then the self is this actually what we found is that the self is this miracle maker. So you surrender to the self, you surrender to this higher power within you.
So how do you know when you are on the right track?
Right. Well, you need to be trained first, but eventually you will feel it, because I call it a wave. You know when you're in the wave, and you know when everything is actually conspiring along with your story to move you forward. And then, so yes, we find a whole new story line when we connect to self versus that old storyline that is the programming of the past, which we're just stuck in. We're literally stuck in this side road, turning circles around our own tail, and just not aware that we are creating these programs. If you grow up feeling not special, then you keep recreating that, and then blaming your husband or your wife. But so yes, it takes training to really understand this, and you need guidance. In the East, the concept of the guru is sacred. In the West, in the indigenous, is the shaman. You need guidance. You need someone. You need a way shower that has navigated it before you. And you need to be very. The dreams, to me, you will find the truth in your dreams if you're on the right path. And right, and
you're really also not a fan of following somebody.
No, to the contrary. What you find is somebody needs to help you to help yourself. The true guru will help you to awaken yourself. The idea is nobody can awaken you. That's an oxymoron.
Yeah, so you don't have to help others.
No.
They will find a way to help themselves.
Yes, and right, exactly. And you can facilitate.
Right.
But
you will not be the one.
No. You
are the one.
Yes, what graduates out of that is somebody that is themselves a Christ figure or a Buddha figure, or somebody that is themselves this. And this is why in the Bible Jesus says, "Ye shall do greater things than I." And there's another statement. He says, "Ye are gods." And so yes, what we find is a whole football team of Buddha figures, if you wish, and not one leader at the top of the pyramid. And then you have this is a follower-less movement, or if you wish, each person is themselves a follower and a leader of themselves. But that does not mean that you do not need help.
Right.
Because you need way showers and trailblazers, because some of us have already, you see what we're doing, what I have done is I have, by myself navigating these stages, it's like someone going
Yeah.
into a strange country and then doing a
Yeah.
reconnaissance work, and then you learn the archetypes, you learn the signposts,
Right.
and then you learn how to navigate it.
Yeah,
But
and it will ring a bell with you. This is like with what you do is dream interpreting. The beauty of dream interpretation is that you might interpret their dream, but it will ring a bell with them or not. And if it does, then you can move on that. If it doesn't, then that dream had no meaning at that time.
exactly, exactly, and you feel it, you know the other person actually feels a click, because many things have to add up. It's almost like it's music. It's actually music, because you feel it is, you find the music in the dream in terms of how things have to add up and connect and harmonize, and there's something to truth that rings, when I get to the gist of a dream by someone or myself, you feel it. It's just because it makes sense. And then there's this click by the person, and so yes, you feel it. And but the idea also is that the dream, what I've learned is that, and that we can get in another interview podcast, is that the surrounding is also the dream world, and every object you is either yin or yang, and everything is symbolical. And when you find this out, and when you can be mindful of the meaning of the things you are experiencing in the now, then that is equivalent to awakening
Yeah.
in the dream, outside of the dream, and then you become lucid, and then you are the self outside of the dream. So then you become as it were, you become the dream maker.
Well, can you say something about people encountering certain numbers the whole time?
Right. But what it is, it's not numerological. You see, Jung actually found this in a way, because what Jung found as number archetypes are actually, and in mathematics you would call them the natural numbers. They exist in nature. This is actually an example of how mathematics is these numbers are alive, because they're archetypes.
Yeah.
And but what they are is, in short,
That's not machines.
no,
Yeah.
but in short, what they denote is the different stages that the self is in, their states, self states. So I get it in dreams. If in dreams someone dreams with a lot of triangles or a lot of the number 3, it means that somebody is in a very split state, which affects your frequency, that brings your frequency down. So what people are getting in these numbers is exactly, this is why the external world is also a dream. Because if you are in the 3 vibration, you will encounter a lot of 3s, but also triangles, because this is actually geometry. Or you will encounter a lot of halves, like 1 o'clock and 20 minutes, or 12 o'clock, or because the half is the split, the fraction.
1, 2.
Right. Or the 2 is a fraction. And if you get 4s in dreams, or squares, it means that there's a connection between the opposites.
Right.
And the circle would then be the stage of the self, and the circle could be the 1, or it could be the 7. So these are stages in which someone is in, and this is a beautiful example of how the external world is going to play itself out to you in the very same archetypes as the dream world will. So if you can be aware of that outside of the dream, it's almost as if you are awake in the dream, both within and without. And then you're who is lucid is the self. So then you're in the true self state, and then you will get the numbers, the number 4 will then show you that you are in connection with the next stage. You see, so, but there's maybe one thing more to be said about that, because we should actually do a whole interview on the number archetypes, because it's so important. But there's also a stage of when you could say a collective stage without graduating from the poles as it should be, and that's what a lot of the new age has fallen into, and that's called what I call blissing out. So then you're also in a stage where there is a lot of paranormal activity, but it's not the good one. And so also in that state, people would get numbers, like for instance the number 1111, but that would be symptomatic of the opening of the portal to the lower fourth. You see, yeah. And that's why, for instance, a lot of people have speculated that certain big events that are detonated are done on certain dates, because when we find a synchronicity of these numbers, then you can also create certain frequencies and vibrations or open up certain portals. But yes, a lot of the people that are a lot of the phenomenon now is misinterpreted and seen maybe as angels or something.
That's a good thing.
Good thing, but it actually can mean that
it's not a good thing.
No, that it's the opening of the door to the other side.
I can one day say, oh, it's a good thing, and then the next day it's like, no, I think it's a bad thing. Let's forget about that.
Yeah. But this is because it's very important to, you need to become in this stage almost like a student of the synchronicity in your life. You need to be you need to study everything that's happening around you.
Yeah, but not necessarily numbers.
No, but everything, because what that in and of itself makes you very zero in the now, and then it takes you in a whole different frequency.
Right.
But yes, you need to study the numbers, because if you can catch on soon enough onto, for instance, that you are in a lower frequency,
right,
then you can do something about it. The problem with this drop when we relapse into the lower frequencies is often that we're not aware that we're there.
No, I don't know it when I am in it.
Exactly.
I know when you're in it.
Yes.
I know when he's in it.
Yes.
Right, that's the problem.
And 90% of the work.
And if you're telling me I'm in it, I'll reject it.
Yes.
Right.
And 90% of the work is to become aware that we are.
This is self-awareness.
Yes. Because when you're aware of it,
yeah,
then you can fix, work on.
I cannot work on your self-awareness.
Never.
No. That's interesting.
Yeah. So, but Jung did when Jung died, he handed a slip of paper to his follower, the person is Marie-Louise von Franz, and she was like the one that headed the Jung movement after Jung died, and he literally handed her this work with the natural numbers as the work that he did not get time to complete. But it's in these natural numbers that you find that this is not numerology. This is number archetypes.
But this sounds so close to machinery.
Yeah.
Because that's only calculation and algorithm.
Yeah. But this is the part of machines that we find that there's also consciousness in machines. Right. You know, there's at the Princeton lab called PAIR, where they study the machine-human interface. And they literally study anomalies in machines that would indicate that machines are also conscious. What it means is everything is conscious, everything. And so these numbers, they are actually denoting the different states that the whole is in.
Right.
And and machines can can play that
They're
out.
also a number.
Yeah.